Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGeek Webinars, our endeavor to empower techies. Today's session is fourth in the webinar series on cloud computing, giving insights into productized services, cloud performance testing. We are delighted to have Mr. Rupesh Garg with us today. Mr. Rupesh is Senior Manager at Wipro Technologies. Rupesh has 11 years of diverse technical and management experience with top consulting companies as a senior manager and solutions architect. He is an accountability and results-driven strategic consultant who excels at managing projects, collaborating with project teams, interfacing with clients, and deploying technology to build successful solutions for clients. Gentlemen, this presentation will continue for next 45 minutes and we will take your questions after the presentation. In the meanwhile, you can post your queries through the chat pane available in the webinar software. Without further ado, I introduce you to our guest speaker, Mr. Rupesh.
Please share your screen.
Hello, this is Rupesh.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Rupesh. I'm presenting this topic today on the cloud performance testing. Actually, Keshav, I'm able to see, hear my own voice itself. Hello. Hello.
Mr. Rupesh? Please share your PPT.
Keshav, can we get started?
Yeah, we can hear you, please.
Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. This is Rupesh. So we'll be studying today on the cloud performance testing, and I know the cloud performance, a varied list of topics for the cloud have been covered up in this month, and I think few more are still pending for the coming weeks. So we'll be taking up today only one particular topic. We'll not be taking up since cloud itself is a topic itself, an ocean. So we'll be taking up only performance testing with the help of cloud-based services. So that will be the agenda of it. So what we'll do is the agenda is number one, all about cloud. Number two, why performance testing. Number three, cloud testing approach. Number four is cloud service providers. And number five is any questions or queries you have. I think you can also, I'll be also able to see some of your questions as I become the present, and I'll be addressing those ones as much as possible during the course of the lecture. If you still have any queries left, we can definitely do it after the lecture also. Yeah. So I'll keep up to the next point. I think so. We'll go to all about cloud. First of all, we'll understand. I'm sure the audience might have some of the things already clear in the mind. What is cloud all about? But some of the people might not have it. So we'll talk basics of the cloud, and then we'll go to the actual performance testing aspect of the cloud. So what is all about cloud? Cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So we can see that it's a model for enabling convenient, number one. Number two, on-demand network access to a shared pool of computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So that is the thing for the cloud. And then number two is deployment models. You can see number one is hybrid clouds and private cloud, community cloud, and public cloud. These are the three different types of cloud services available in the market. Number one is public, which you might have already heard about it, which is fairly common. And then is private cloud, which many companies. There's a company named as Novel, which bought a company to have a private cloud. They eventually have the benefits of the cloud, but at the same time they kind of kept it as a private cloud so that the security concerns of this kind of company can be addressed. You'll see many of the customers who really don't want to expose themselves to a cloud service provider because they have a security. They feel it's a fairly high security breach. I was just reading in the Economic Times last week that they said that about 60% of the CEOs in the IT, top guns still believe in India that that cloud is a security threat. The similar kind of studies when conducted in Europe and US have been also found the same kind of behavioral pattern among people. Over the due course of time, we do see that people are adopting cloud services, but definitely that security aspect remains a challenge, and that's why people go for private cloud, which eventually they're getting the benefit of the cloud, and at the same time they're also taking it that way. So now coming to software service models, then eventually there are three service models, right? Number is software as a service, number two platform as a service, number three is infrastructure as a service. So let's understand what is software as a service. Software as a service like Gmail, Google Docs, and all that kind of stuff. Platform as a service is any kind of development platform which developers want to share with each other. Infrastructure as a service, which you will find the best implemented in today's lecture for the cloud performance testing. Infrastructure as a service. Essential characteristics: on-demand self-service, broad network access, rapid elasticity, resource pooling, and measured service. One of the topics is broad network access. That's a fairly important topic because when you cannot obviously have a unlimited network bandwidth for your group because you cannot pay that much, right? For release time. So what this provides is this service provides you that you can go for a small line, and then you can basically access it on a need basis. Like if you need a 12 Mbps line or you need 1 gigabytes per second line, you can borrow it for 1 month, 1 day, or even a couple of hours. So that much of flexibility you will be able to see it. And common characteristics among different types of clouds, types of cloud deployment models or service models are massive scale, yeah, like Google has, right? Google can gives you like from one machine to lakhs of machines. So Amazon has that kind of skills, right? Homogeneity, virtualization, low cost software. Like if you look at Google Docs, or if you look at another company, is Zoho.com, which provides the name of the company is Zoho.com, which provides online CRM solutions, online documents, and all that stuff. They provide much cheaper compared to regular company. The biggest success story you can say these days, Salesforce.com, right? Which is eventually able to give the online predictability of the software and also give the pay at a cheaper price as compared to previous model in which companies used to buy at a fairly hefty price, and that too for the enterprise-wide licenses. And then coming is resilient computing, geographic distribution, service orientation, advanced security. So these are also fairly common characteristics like geographic distribution. In the load testing, it's very useful when you have the hardware all across the world. You don't have it 1 or 2 places, right? And like normal customers of ours have. So where they have 1 lab or 2 lab kind of thing, but here you have across the world kind of lab. And now advantages. So advantage of the cloud are number 1 scalability, number 2 availability, number 3 reliability, number 4 adaptability, security, and accountability. So number 1 is coming to scalability, availability. Scalability is definitely, you can say it can scale up, right? Availability is it can be available for a given time, and same thing with reliability and security. Like I was talking about, about security, positive and negative aspects, and accountability. So these are the various aspects of cloud. Challenges: lack of control. Many people feel that, like I was telling about the survey, right, in which people feel that many CEOs in Indian market feel that no, it's not as secure. Even though you will not believe that Indian Railways has deployed all the infrastructure onto cloud and has got a tremendous amount of cost reduction. Even though it's a government company, but still they have been fairly open for this kind of initiative. Now, security, as telling, in one of the projects when we were doing, we found that one of the customers wanted to deploy their whole database into a lab. But when we talked about deploying the whole database into a cloud environment, they were not very keen, even though they were seeing a potential cost benefit and better service. But they had a fairly nervous feeling in deploying everything onto the cloud. And privacy concerns, data integrity, and availability and business acceptability.
Yeah, Rupesh, just sorry to intervene you. I mean,
Yes,
can you please speak at a little slow pace, because we're getting feedback from the participants like they are not able to hear you properly.
Okay, sure, sure. Yeah.
And also keep your phone at a little, I mean, some distance.
Okay, phone. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I'll go a little slower. Number 1 is lack of control. Number 2 is security. Number 3 is privacy concerns. Number 4 is data integrity. Number 5 is availability. Number 6 is business acceptability. So I will at least, if not possible to touch on all the points, I'll touch on 1 to 2. So lack of control. So like I will give an example. That one of the customers wanted to deploy a very cost-effective solution. They had first deployed their whole database into a lab, but later on they did not want to move to a cloud lab. Definitely the lab was also owned by us, but the cloud lab was definitely is not owned by us, right? It is with the Amazon or Google or some other company. So they're feeling that they will not have a control on who is actually accessing the database and who is not. These kind of issues they had, and similar kind of example we can say for the security or privacy concerns these people have. Availability, yeah, very good point. See, most of the times cloud services are being associated with the high availability, but here it was a other way around. Like there is a company called Rackspace.com. It's a US-based company. It's a fairly small company, not like a big like Amazon or Google. But what happened, they provided a very good service to their customers, but once their whole data center went off in one of the locations, So the company which had a dependency of the whole software running from that particular data center, that was went off. So eventually, I think at the end of the day, it looked like that one day got wasted of the whole productivity for about 5 to 10,000 employees of the company in particular center, so which was a huge, huge cost, right? If you look at it. So and the customer felt that they did not have a control over it. That's why they could not make sure that they could bring up the service immediately. So eventually, those are not controlled by the customer, but those are controlled by one company, which is to whom they are contacting for the cloud services. So these are the challenges which are fairly prominent, right? So like I told, lack of control, security concerns, or availability, these are major challenges you find from various people. So, so what we have covered till now, I'll just do a brief recap. What is cloud all about? We discussed, right? And then we discussed different deployment models of cloud, different service models of cloud, essential characteristics of those ones, and how they help with the better service, with better value, or with the better massive scale implementation. Let's say I need to have 2,000 machines tomorrow morning. I obviously cannot buy it as a company, right? But if I need to have it only for one day, I can just go to Cloud Center and rent it out for one day. I need to have extra RAM, I can go to Cloud Center and rent it out. I need to have a extra network bandwidth, I can just go to Cloud Center and buy it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, till the point I need it. I don't need to have any kind of management of my IT workforce who will be needed to be deployed for during that time. So that is a major benefit of looking at the cloud. Okay. Now advantages, we looked at it. Now challenges, we looked at it. Now how the security concerns, availability, or data integrity are the major challenges from their perspective, right? Now coming to performance testing. So number one is I think what we'll do is first we'll go to what are the basics of performance testing. Then I'll kind of browse to what you guys have questions. Let me also just go over here to the webinar and see if any next questions are pending for me. If I need to have a look at it. So I don't see anything as of now for me. I'll go back to my PPT and I think I'll go next to performance testing. So what we're doing is in today's lecture, see, cloud is not only implementable to performance testing. We understand it is totally changing the whole IT landscape. But I think since this lecture is fairly limited, we'll keep it limited to only performance testing, so that you guys at least get a hang of it. Because I think in covering up so many different variety of questions or topics in 1 hour will be fairly difficult. That's why I kept it limited to very performance testing only. As of now, what are the potential gains we'll see. And we'll also see over the course of as the lecture progresses that how different companies have deployed these kind of solutions very successfully, and they have got good value out of it. Okay. So how to test your website performance? Performance testing. Performance testing is used to evaluate following qualities in a system. Number one is reliability, number two scalability, interoperability, and that's a performance test. Number is stress, load, stress, reliability, scalability, and volume. I know, so some of you, these might be terms which you have heard it just every morning, but for some of you might be hearing it first time. So what I do is I'm happy to walk through line by line with each one of the types so that you kind of get a hang of it. So load testing, modeling expected usage by simulating multiple users accessing the program services concurrently. That is called as load testing. See, eventually, whatever the load on the system should be, we are putting that bunch. So we are accessing the system services that way. Now coming to stress testing, determine the stability of a given system testing it beyond normal operational capacity. And reliability. Determine how long the application can sustain optimum performance levels under expected loads. And that will help us to know what is our reliability. Scalability. Determines how long the application can scale up, be it user load supported, number of transactions, data volume. Right. Testing a software application for a volume is, so volume is what? Basically doing volume testing, right, with a certain amount of data, like You might have seen a website which uploads huge amount of files like slideshare.net, right, or a Microsoft SharePoint, right? So these kind of sites are very volume heavy, right, in terms of amount of data they upload, and that we do them. Now coming back to the other things is other couple of other things which you want to cover is like there might be other sites which are like absorbing a lot of data. Like if I have to process a batch file for 12 hours. I need to process that one insurance application, right? I need to give a lot of policies which are open and which have certain amount of premium to be paid, or which have certain amount of due amounts to be paid, or which have to be paid off the claim amounts. You got my point? So those kind of tests which lakhs of policies need to process in 12 hours. So those kind of tests are called as volume test. And same way, if you come to scalability, you will see if application can scale up to 100 users, can it scale up to 150, 200, 250, kind of like that, right? So that need to be kind of asserted in a constant manner. Now, traditional performance testing approach. So traditionally, what we have been doing is we have a system under test application, we have load generators, and then we have control over there, right? So we can see over here that that we can see that we're generating a load onto the application. So this is this is eventually what happens in a regular load testing project, right? You have one small lab in which you're generating a load, and you have LDs in one lab only from a couple of places from where you're generating load, right? So here we are showing from 4 different locations, but not too many, right? You cannot have 20 locations from where you are generating load. So that kind of limitation is always there into traditional performance testing, not in a cloud-based, right? And now let's go to the next one. So how the cloud fits in? Cloud is that you have like so many in different locations where you can access your load generators. Even this number is fairly small. I'll be showing later on in the slides that some of the companies have load testers from 50 different locations, or 100 different locations. Okay, so this is what they're showing, and then performance testing from the cloud is eventually this is what shows the location of the LGs, and then this is how it shows, the diagrammatically, if you look at it. Now, how it fits in? Load generators in the cloud, you can see over there a kind of cloud sign. And then you have application server, DB server, firewall, and all these kind of things, right? And then you are showing it, right, that way. So this is what it happens, when you are performance testing from the cloud. Eventually, you have multiple locations from where you can generate the load, right? So in this one, you'll see what is a regular performance testing approach. We do a automation test script creation, then followed, before that we do requirement gathering, right? And then we do a test execution and monitoring, right? And based on that monitoring results, we do a test result analysis, right? So these are all these things, which are basically diagrammatically they show, like eventually it will go like this, come here, and again we go in a cyclic manner, right? Test execution monitoring. In case results are not acceptable, then the performance tuning team will tune it and again go back to the execution monitoring kind of thing, right? So this is how it is running up to, right? Now, so I'm sure now you must have got a hang of it. Like if you look at it, what the traditional performance testing is only from a couple of LGs, load generators for a couple of locations across the world. But when I'm going with the help of cloud, I have accessibility all across the world, right? And then when I'm doing performance testing from the cloud, this is we have you can see that you have a lot of options to generate the load back to from different locations, right? And then this is the whole performance testing life cycle shows. Solution overview. So now if you look at it, here we are showing basically a small things, the rack space cloud, like rack space cloud, whatever our different partners are, and then GoGrid and Amazon Web Services, and then sir. Rackspace Cloud, and you can see I was telling about a company called the Rackspace Cloud, GoGrid, Amazon, or iMega, right? Technology, and then IS provider, then provider performance test tool, SaaS provider, right? So these kind of these are a few other and we have now you have to look at it from two ways. Okay, number one is you look at the infrastructure which is being provided by different company, Amazon or iMega Technology, GoGrid.com or Rackspace Cloud Services, right? And number two is looking at the software. So it's not that only hardware is available on the cloud, okay? Even software is available on the cloud. If you look at it, there's a company called OpenSTA, JMeter, Cloud Test, Showstar, Lodestorm, T-Sun. These kind of companies are fairly available in the market. It will help you to kind of have the tools handy through which you can generate the load. Okay. Now coming to this thing, so controlled cloud testing. So now we might recall that we had three stages of cloud, right? Number public, community, and private. So what is public? Public is which is accessible to all, like Amazon, Google. What is private is like company like Novel, somebody bought one more company who have their private cloud. Then community cloud is something which is like being shared across multiple companies, but it is not open public. Like let's say Wipro and two more companies, Infosys and one more company join together. They have a one cloud which is shared across them, but not to the rest of the world, right? So now there's something called controlled cloud testing, into which you can generate the load with the help of your own cloud lab, which is giving you the benefit of the cloud, but obviously not that you will be eventually driving yourself to the direction that you will be wasting your time in coordinating with other parties, or you will have a data security risk. Like you might recall now, we have covered one slide into which we are talking what? We're talking a few things that eventually we are talking that we have done number one is within private cloud, and then we have seen that what are limitations of the cloud, right? We saw data security is a limitation, perception is a limitation, other adaptability is a limitation, few of the limitations we saw, right? That can be addressed fairly heavily with the help of private cloud, while you are able to see the benefits of the private cloud, of the cloud services, right? Basically, shared services across the whole organization, which help you to save your money and energy. Know and understand the origination of the load, IP geography, ability to control the distribution of the load, ability to use the same systems and configuration for subsequent testing, perfect coordination of the load injectors, and ability to correlate the load with the end user response time and impact on the system. So I'll explain you. I know some people have got it over here in this slide. Some people might not have understood what this whole slide is all about. I'll show you the meaning of it. Ability to control distribution of load. So like I was saying that if you have a having cloud, you obviously have multiple options of generating load from multiple locations across the world. So you can see over here. But when you're in a regular load test, what do you have? You have these two machines, okay? Two locations have a lot of machines. All these machines don't have a load generator, okay? So eventually you are only driving over here at this point. So that is where it stops you. Now, perfect coordination of the load injectors. You don't have to coordinate with multiple parties. You have one vendor with whom you can work it out. Ability to correlate the load with the end user response time and the impact on the system. Now, another aspect of it is you have ability to correlate the user load with the end user response time. Means you can generate the load from multiple locations and see the impact of the network latency. So this is how it will control, even though it's not a complete cloud testing, okay? It's controlled cloud testing, but still it is giving a lot of benefits. Okay. So I'm hoping you guys have got the gist of it. First of all, we discuss what the cloud is all about, what are different types of cloud services. Number two, we discuss what are positive points about cloud and the disadvantages of cloud. Then we discuss what are the different types of performance testing services we do. And then we discuss how the cloud fits in over there and how the cloud performance testing is better than regular performance testing. Now we are even trying to understand what is a cloud controlled cloud testing, right? So This is how we are moving further. Okay. And we saw this one also, that it's not about cloud is not only about hardware, but it's eventually also driving from the software, also from the load testing perspective. Like companies like Gomez, Lodestorm, Keyboard, Cloud Test, JMeter, Thiessen, these are companies which are heavily inclined toward cloud performance testing, and they're providing a lot of services into cloud space. And this is providing software for the cloud performance testing. Eventually, they have fine-tuned the tool which can be used across the world and across the firewalls also. Okay. Now, looking at it, some of the people who are really in the up there in the market and providing the service. Number one company is called Mutus. Number two, AppPerfect. Number three is Gomez. Number four is Platform Lab. Number five is Soastar. And number six is Keynote. Number seven is BrowserMob. Number 8 is Load Impact. Number 9 is Lodestorm. Number 10 is HP Beta, Sauce Labs, Push to Test. So they're like different companies. You'll see if you look at the list of these companies, some are very small companies, some are very big companies, but everybody is trying to make a venture. Look at HP. HP has a tool called as Loader. They're using it for providing cloud services. But they companies like Mutus, AppPerfect, Gomez, all these companies, really small companies, but they have perfected the art of providing this kind of services. Now coming to even look at we'll go to this middle of the slide also. The bottom line. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Google App Engine, GoGrid, AppNexus. So what it does is it's showing you different hardware provider, from Amazon or from GoGrid or from AppNexus. See 10 cents per hour for a small instance, So if you look at the cost of it, it's too cheap. It's way too cheap as compared to regular companies. Where traditionally you go, you invoice for the hardware, you get the hardware, you set up a machine, you really use it. If you have ever used a cloud, you'll be amazed to find that you have just log into remote website. It's like a web link. And if you go to WebLink, and you will find that there you have a name of the machines written over there. You say right click, you say install XP. You say right click, you say install Windows 7. You say right click, install 2000. So it has option of installing all the softwares over there. Okay, so this is mind blowing, and the way you can set up the machines and the space at which you can set it up. Now coming to right side is pricing details. So pricing details are, professional cloud, business cloud, corporate cloud, enterprise cloud, and pay-as-you-go. So, they have eventually come up with a fairly effective, costing model, which is more like a restaurant menu. So now some of you might be wondering what is the meaning of restaurant menu. See, when you go to a restaurant, you obviously are not worried that, what is the cost of vegetables, what is the cost of salt, what is the cost of cooking oil. And eventually what you go there is, you go for just having a cup of tea. So how the cup of tea is being made, how much they're paying to a cook and how much they're paying to a cleaner, that doesn't matter for you, right? Eventually what you want is, you just want to pay 5 rupees, 10 rupees or 50 rupees for a cup of tea and, take a tea and get out of there. So this is where even the market is progressing in the testing space. If you look at it, Storm on demand, pay per test. What they're doing is they're saying, we'll do scripting, we do comment capturing, we do load tests, we do report creation, everything we do. You pay us $10, we'll run load tests for 250 users on your website. So it's amazing the way they have come up with a very cheap number, and they have come with rate card, which is itself gives you confidence to the outer user. Okay, people say I want to run my test application for 500 users. They say, okay, I'll take $100. Unlike the previous model, into which people used to say, okay, I want to run an application, then the business development manager of that particular group will contact the customer, they will capture requirement, they will again fine tune it, and again they will utilize it. So, which is not true, right? Here what people do is, I want to run a Lotus to 500 users, this is much, you can pay me this much, and you can just forget whatever it is, inside it is, right? But in the other previous case, you never had a prediction on the costing. even though you had enough prediction, but your costing was much higher than what it shows over here right now. Even though many of the critics will definitely come back with this viewpoint of this kind of websites is that they are not providing service for end-to-end load testing, right? They're providing only for web-based load testing. So that is agreeable also. That is not, we are not denying that fact. But still, that itself is a fairly big challenge in the market, that the way these people are providing the service, right, and the pricing at which they are heading off. So I have covered quite a bit of it. I will show you a few things, I think, about each company. Why do you use the cloud for load testing? The cloud brings substantial benefits to load testing, whether the testing is carried out by large corporation with an in-house performance center or by a startup. More flexibility, multiple generators, in multiple internal resources, etc. Right? I explained like many times before that you have option of reaching out from multiple load generators, and you obviously have a better flexibility, right? More savings. You only pay for the power you use. Like, let's say I want to use only machines for 1 week. Why the heck do I need to pay for 1 month or 2 months or 1 year, right? I will only pay for 1 year, 1 month, right? I need only network bandwidth for next 2 weeks to conduct a huge load test. I don't need to lease it out for whole year, man. I can just pay for 2 weeks. I can get out of there, right? More realistically, realistic means you don't need to invest your money into any kind of network emulation tools, any other tools, engaging supporting tools, because you already have your load test is realistic, right? And no limits. You can progressively test heavier and heavier loads. The power is almost available limitless. Like what I was saying before was that you name the number of machines you need in terms of RAM, in terms of CPU, in terms of hard disk space. You get it from the cloud. So it's like, it can scale from 1 to 10 lakhs, I think. I think maybe more than that. So there is nothing, which will limit you from the hardware perspective or from network bandwidth perspective. Anything which will limit is what is the capacity of your application to scale up, right? So now LoadStorm. LoadStorm is a cloud load testing tool that's great. So like I was telling you, right, here we saw many companies which are in the cloud-based testing services. And I want to know, what I'll do is I'll show you a few, like, Storm and Demand Pay, right, paper test. Same, I'll show you a few more companies' rate cards, and you'll be amazed to see that amount of cheaper rate cards they offer in the market. Like, LoadStorm is a cloud load testing tool that generates web traffic for you. Please sign up for a free account to take a quick tour of the tool. So it's like, you might have seen in, you go to different malls and all, they say, please try my, free cookie, then only buy it. So that's what they do these days. They say, have a free load test with us, then make up your mind to buy our services. Which is definitely not the case in the traditional style of IT business, right? People say, first sign the contract, then we'll do anything for you. So we can see that there's a huge change in the mindset with the help of this kind of productized services approach. And you can even see the costing, right? Look at this costing, man. Storm and Demand concurrent user, 500 users only for $20, 1,000 users only for $40. And believe me, if you go for HP licenses, I think you'll end up spending like $20,000 only for licenses for 1,000 users. So obviously, you are way below what the actual charges would happen. So we are doing very good in that sense, right? So now I'm selling LoadStorm. Sosta is another company, provides services to test websites and web applications. It is a leading provider of cloud-based testing services and created the industry's first browser-based website testing product. Website uses load testing, performance testing, functional testing, and user interface testing. Sosta provides cloud website testing with the product called a cloud test, which simulates thousands of users visiting a website simultaneously using the Amazon data center, right? Sosta allows customers to use predefined tests or create customized tests to automatically test their website. So one of the testimonials they have put it up on the website is there was no way we could have ever simulated 5 lakh users, right, against a site in the internal test tab. So it's a CP of Quatrack, some company. By cloud testing, we're able to identify connection issues immediately and fix the site prior to production. So like this is what I'm saying, right? 5 lakh machines, can you make it available? No, I don't think so. None of the labs will have it. Even if you talk about except Google, I think Microsoft doesn't have a computer associate synthesis. No company has it, right? But these kind of cloud computing services companies, they provide that much of elasticity. This is what was called as characteristics of cloud, right? The elasticity, the amount of scaling you can do from 1 to 1 lakh, 1 to 5 lakh, 1 to 10 lakhs in your hardware, in your network bandwidth, in your CPU, in your memory, and all those things. It'll definitely help you, right? Now, so this is important to see, right? And now Keynote test and monitoring products. So Keynote is one of another company, and it has acquired one more small company which is in the mobile space, fairly popular. And this company has done a tremendous job in doing the performance testing of various mobile applications, especially. So even if you look at the logo, they say Mobile and Internet Performance Authority. And believe me, if you go to their website, you will find almost everything in the world of mobile testing and performance testing. And the interesting thing to look over here is, like I was telling, try a demo, then only buy it, right? So they say, request for a free trial. They say, give us your cell phone details. We'll do the mock application testing. Then we'll give you a sample report also. Then you make up your mind, right? So I mean, these kind of approaches are very unique and very competitive in the market because nobody else does it. Not regular companies don't do it, these kind of things, right? So these are kind of smaller companies which are majorly based out of US and India. They have really made a landscape for themselves into this space, right? So this is what I would say. Keynote itself, I would highly recommend all of you guys to number one, go to Keynote, and a couple of other sites I'll be showing in this slide to browse it if you really want to get a hang of it, that's how the cloud testing works, right? Now another company is called Gomez. Tests from here end users are located by selecting over 1 lakh plus load generating consumer grade desktops. 500 plus combination browsers, operating system has 3 resolutions. Whether you need to test on Windows XP and Internet Explorer 6, Mac operating system, or Firefox, or iPhone, whatever you think of, they have it, and you can understand. See, in the desktop world, there were hardly a couple of operating systems. There was no operating system competition, right? There are a couple of browsers. But if you come to mobile space, look at the number of operating systems. And every company has their own operating system, and every company has their own browser. The number of combinations for which you have to test it out, and plus screen resolutions and multiple other factors, it's mind-boggling, right? So these kind of companies provide that kind of combination you want to test it on your infrastructure. So definitely I would say go through these kind of websites, Keynote, Gomez, Vasta. So these are the companies who are pioneers into the space of cloud testing, and especially performance testing. Like now look at another company called SaaS Labs, which is majorly for the automation cross-browser testing with Selenium and cloud. So they have even they can do so much customization. They say how many tests are there in each build, how many builds you run every week. Based on that one, they'll tell you how much cost you should go for. They will advise you. Okay, you have only 1 build per week, and you have only hardly 5 tests per in each build. Why the heck you need to go for a premium service? You can go for a small team, which will charge you much lesser than a premium service, right? So that way, they have brought this menu framework, which is like restaurant menu concept, which is like breaking the walls of the traditional IT players, which are fairly big in the market still, but definitely it is shaking them up. It's shaking them up and waking them up that definitely the coming years market will be more competitive and more consumer friendly. Now look at another company which is doing the AccuTest and SAP performance testing, cloud load testing service, stress testing cloud services, load testing. See, I was telling you before, a lot of websites which have done only in the website space, right? Star, Gomez, and all these companies are majorly focused only on the website enabled applications. But this one is like in the CRP and CRM and ERP implementation, infrastructure, performance monitoring, and tuning, including network, right? Performance test tool evaluation, load testing web application, website, and web services. Okay, so there are quite a bit of things you can see over here, which are implementable. And then we had deployed our own web services, our own kind of rate card with how the different load testing, performance testing will happen. Limitations with the cloud computing. The cloud test environment doesn't reflect production environments. run on specific physical servers, specific virtualization technology, specific networking and bandwidth, and that is hard to replicate. So yeah, for us to say, what these are the specific problems they're finding, that sometimes the cloud test environment is not an actual simulation of the environment, which you'll find, especially like virtualization versus physical hardware, there's quite a bit of difference in that one. Then there is the issue of support. Cloud provider is not supporting technology that you use it all, like specific HP blade server. Yeah, that is also true. Like you might want to test an HP blade server, they might have a Sun server. You might want to test one version of HP blade server, then they might have another version of HP blade server. That can be a definitely limitation, especially in terms of servers which are fairly expensive in the market. Integration in particular is causing a lot of headaches. Yeah, so this is also one of the challenges. So yeah, that's all. Gives a overall high view about what cloud testing is all about, and how the performance testing fits in, and what are the different kind of companies who are playing the role into cloud testing. So any questions you have from me?
The questions are shared with you. Can you see the questions in the questions pane in your control panels?
Okay, sure. I'm just. Okay, I have a lot of questions. Okay, questions are with me. Let me just go over here. If I were to go for a knee cloud, then do I need to scrap my old service, or can I use it cloud-like application? Okay. Is cloud testing a new testing type, or is it depends on traditional testing types? Okay, I'll take this question. Question number 2. So cloud testing, cloud testing is nothing new. It's eventually the same older style of testing. The only plus point in the cloud testing is coming is, but here you get multiple permutation combinations, like a company like Gomez, which is saying it will give you 500 plus permutation combinations for browsers and operating systems. And number 2 is it will give you also, if it was showing like one whose load test was run with the 5 lakh machines, right? That is not possible in a regular setup, right? So that is being done over here. So, but nothing else, we are doing, which is strange, which is something new in the cloud testing world. Cloud testing is just for better control of the software or hardware and making more cheaper for the, for the consumer eventually. Okay, now we'll go. Is Loren available as a SaaS in the cloud? Yes, it's available, but I think it's not available in a full-scale model. I think it's only hardly available for 300 users load test. So like the examples I gave of certain companies who are running load tests for 1 lakh users, 5 lakh users, that I think that actually has not rolled out. Right now they only have a 300 users license possible only for the SaaS model of the loader. Okay, now next one is there a sandbox or test environment available for PHP developer for cloud services? No idea. We don't have an idea about this one. Rupesh, as you said, we can merge two organizations, software or hardware, in one cloud. Question is like, if something goes wrong with that cloud, means both the org are going to affect. If yes, then how to overcome? Yeah, very good, very good. See, eventually now you can see that software and hardware. See, right? I was telling one example of one company, which in which the email service down for the whole day, and they had put the whole support infrastructure from a cloud provider. Like they have the same thing like we use Outlook, right? But the servers on which the Outlook emails were saved, they were on a third party, like Rackspace.com, right? Now what happened, that service went down, and then the whole day they were not able to access the emails. So that is definitely a risk, and that is why people feel the risk that if they're running it, then what will happen to, in case it goes down, in case somebody steals the data. Like you might have read in the newspaper somewhere in the BPO news that last year came that that somebody is stealing data out of the BPO center, And then many companies in the US was worried that are they setting up the right data centers in India, or what is the credibility of the data being kept over there, and how we make sure the data protection is already really high. So yeah, that is a very, very valid challenge. That is definitely there. Can the function or the function and performance system be encrypted altogether through automation? Yeah, and see here, every type of testing which you do in the regular life, you can do over here. Okay. The plus point here you get is you can buy the license of the software or of the hardware on a need basis. Need basis means if I need to run the load test for 1 week, why do I need an enterprise-wide license for a whole year, right? That kind of things can be done, right? I'm hoping I'm clear. I think you can, otherwise please keep on responding to me by chat box. So at least I'll clarify whatever questions you have. Does the class system allows one to test website using real browsers? Yeah. That is what, see, Swasta, if you look at this company, that is what they say proudly, that they have 500 combinations. Like that. I mean, it's mind-boggling, right? Swasta, I think Gomez company is saying, right? 500 plus combination browser operating systems, screen resolutions. So that many resolutions, that many options they give you, right? Will cloud computing be a tipping point for change in the testing industry? Yeah, it is. It is definitely. That's why it was the lecture. How we differentiate application on internet and application on cloud. As both the places we have uploaded application and access. No, see, when you work on Gmail, do you feel that it's on cloud versus when you work on your web-based email of your company? No, you will not feel it from the outer side. Okay, I don't understand this for me. Does a cloud service like Azure or EC2 exist when which can run arbitrary workloads? A client has to use of in this. I'm sorry, I couldn't understand this question. Send privately. Keshav, I think yeah, I'm fairly done. Yeah. If audience has more questions, we can definitely take it up.
There are few more questions, if you can see them.
Okay, sure, please send me. So, okay, say I'll go to your question. I think I got it, what you're asking. So if you want to go for new cloud, do I need to scrap my old servers or can I use it for cloud-like application? So see, eventually try to understand this point. If you're going for public cloud, eventually you have to scrap this whole hardware, right? If you're going for community or private cloud, what you can do is you can give all this hardware over to a shared lab services, which might be like, if let's say Wipro is having, 10 data center, 10 ODCs across the world, out of which they will set up lab in maybe 2 or 3 locations across the world, right? So they will put it, all the hardware consolidated at one place and one person will be managing. So eventually, lot of costing will come once you are managing it from one place. And number two, like you might have seen, like Google, they have, the YouTube itself requires huge amount of data centers, and then Google search engine. How they manage it? They keep all these things in a very cheap place in different countries. Like in the US, they manage it in Arizona, or in some countries, some places in US where they're totally village. There's nothing. And now the next question you will have is how do they manage for the power, right? Machine needs power to run it. So what they do is they have even done that one a solar energy system for the whole data center. So they don't have a dependency on the government. right? If they want to manage the data center in India, they will be making it self-sustaining or with the very least dependency on the outside power also, so that they themselves can manage their own data centers. Okay, and plus the cost is also managed well, right? Okay, let's go to the next. How would you recommend doing stress testing to the Azure cloud service? How would you recommend doing stress? I'm not sure of this. I have to check it out. Okay, Bharat, I am responding to your question. I am also not sure about it. Not sure about it. We will have to check it up. And okay, Abhay, with the growing use of cloud computing, which are the ISPs doing to ensure adequate bandwidth for not only a provider but the customers? With the increase of ISPs testing and implementing data usage caps, I think it should be growing concern for some who want to work from the cloud from anywhere, including home, without the worry about the infringement method, as you say. Yeah, very good question. See, here, Abhay, the problem is, like in India, you cannot have unlimited bandwidth, right? Like in US or Europe, you can have. So, like, let's say I won't even rent it out 1 gigabyte per second line, right? In India, I cannot do it so very easily. So that is why even the benefits, which are tangible benefits, which we need to see out of the cloud model, are not so very directly visible in Asia also, right? Because no, network bandwidth is not possible then that much as it is possible in US or in Europe, right? So that kind of limitations are definitely there over here. Let me see what are the questions. What are the ISPs doing to ensure adequate bandwidth? I don't know what the ISPs are doing, to be honest with you. That I think up to them. But eventually, the point here is, if I'm ISP, I want to test my application on a different network bandwidth, right? So how will I test it? Given I can avail that much bandwidth, right, to test on a different throughput. So that is what the cloud will help. Like, let's say you will see many mobile companies, right, like Nokia. They want to test how their cell phone works in this region of the state, that region of the state, that region of the country, that way, right? They call it something field network testing, right? So they want to test it how it behaves in different parts of the country. Because no, the same tower will not behave properly in different areas. So same thing, you want to test it, the network bandwidth, how will it behave? So that is eventually will be driving off, right? Okay, that's what I have. Any questions, please send me.
More. I think we have got one more question shared with you. So after this, we can conclude this session.
Yeah, Mukul. So what about the assurance of security in data privacy? Yeah, very good, Abhi. So see, data privacy is definitely an issue, and also security. Okay, both the things are, like I was giving you an example, right? So now coming to this topic is, multiple countries have different data, policies, right? Data revealing policies, like you might have seen, like Facebook and Google have been put in the notice by the High Court for a certain content in India. which is like, which is totally okay in US or in Europe maybe, but in India people are taking it very offensively. Same way the data, data revealing policies or how the data has to manage, and if the data gets, lost, how the company should be sued, those will vary from country to country. So companies who are like, fairly big, like companies like Google and all that stuff, they definitely have a fairly big challenge in managing this data, and also making sure that data, if it gets lost, how it will be tracked back. So some of the companies, what they do is they have something called mirror, database images. So whatever the image they have in Noida for the Gmail servers, they will manage the same in the San Francisco. So that if this mailing server comes down, automatically the workload will shift over there, and also you will also be able to access all your older emails. So that kind of things people are doing, but definitely, I mean, it's a fairly big concern in the market, and people are still very apprehensive. That's why you'll see companies who are in the retail space, they are definitely more keen for this kind of thing. But companies who are more into healthcare or more into banking domain, they're very finicky about data security. And to address it, many people have come with a short way in their life. What they want to do is they want to first go with a private cloud to reap the benefits of the cloud, but still they want to keep it private, so that they are not having the exposure to the outer world. So that's what I'm saying. Keshav, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can conclude this session now.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Rupesh, for your informative session on productized services, cloud performance testing. It was indeed an enlightening session. I would also like to thank our participants for the support in making this webinar a huge success. The recording of this webinar will be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. The next session in Cloud Computing webinar series is happening tomorrow, Wednesday 18th Jan 2012 at 3 p.m. Topic for the webinar is Cloud Storage for Azure Applications. We'll be having Mr. Nilesh Wadke, Principal Education and Research, Infosys Limited, as our guest speaker. So see you all tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you.